Start again. Good evening, everyone. I'm Fatima Azam, and I'm going to be your host for today's Startup Grind Fireside Chat. Today, I'm very excited to be hosting this chat because I have along with me Shah Jahan and Zubair, who are going to be representing Udhaar Book. Udhaar Book is one of the startups that Pakistan is very proud of because they've recently raised VC funding of around 6 million, and they're planning to scale as a super app. I'm gonna introduce the fireside chat by handing it over to Shah Jahan first and then Zubair, so that they can introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about their journeys.
Hi. Thank you, Fatima. Thank you, Umar, for having us. Udhaar Book started off as a conversation initially that we had with one of the merchants here in Pakistan, in Karachi. It was one of our favorite stores that we would go to often, Sony Sweets. And, we loved his service and we asked him, hey, Babar, when are you opening up your next location? And his response was, never. And we were a little taken aback. Hey, why? And he explained that he had to do so much accounting. There's so much manual work just to manage his current business that he, would go home after 16, 17 hours of, work. And then he had no family time. And so, let alone think about, starting a new location altogether. So, that's when we got very passionate as a team. That there's a real opportunity here, there's real pain points, and we'd had some experience dealing with businesses in the West, and we saw that they were working very efficiently, and we wanted the same for Pakistani businesses. So yeah, that's how it started. And we started off with a basic app, saw some great feedback, and then we started iterating really fast. And mashallah, that's the journey of where we are today. I personally look after technology. I look at the engineering part of things and just making sure that things are able to scale while we maintain good quality, robustness and all those things.
Thank you. Do you have anything to add to that, Zubair?
Can you repeat yourself? I can't able to hear your voice. Sorry.
So my next question is going to be about your roles at Udhaar Book. So do you have anything to add to it? And
Yeah, sure.
tell us what you do at Udhaar Book and your contribution to.
So yes, so I am one of the founding members of Udhaar app, Udhaar Book. So I started my journey in 2019. Majorly, I used to do with the product designing and help out with the marketing stuff in terms of creating all over the product. So yeah, once we have so I used to take care of all the information of our customer and try to understand the requirements, that how we gonna nail this feature and how we gonna do the wireframes, all the product element. So yeah, that is in my plate. And the second one is marketing. So yeah, that's from my side.
Okay. So the Book has had the exceptional journey from being an idea to now being a VC funded company. We want you to tell us a little bit about the journey. How has it been? Because companies in Pakistan have had till now. So share a little bit about how it's been. What were the challenges? How exciting was it?
Yeah, so it's been very exciting and very challenging at the same time. We were taken aback. We've been doing sort of products before this as well, but the way that Udhaar Book scaled, we were, it was kind of a pleasant surprise, but also a great responsibility at the same time, because we could see that we were building something that was solving some big pain points for merchants. And, so we were seeing the growth day to day, month to month, and the features that we were building. But yes, with growth comes a lot of challenges. And specifically in this industry, there's many challenges, that we can talk about. One of the biggest challenges is that you want to build an app that services very large number of businesses, but then each business is unique in the way they operate. And to be able to build something that is that keeps everybody happy, all the different kinds of businesses happy, that's a very, it's a tough challenge. So there was definitely a lot of innovation, a lot of research, a lot of iteration that went into, determining, what were the right features that we wanted to build. Another important and a very big challenge was that, as opposed to the Western world where people have really good quality phones, Pakistani market has a wide spectrum of phones where, some are much cheaper and, they don't really have very powerful hardware. But you still have to build an operating system, an app that runs smoothly for all businesses. All businesses have, they have very, important needs to be running all the time, even when they don't have any internet. They may have a lot of data. You'd be surprised that, even the smallest of businesses, like a Kiryana store in the corner, may seem very small, but the amount of data that Kiryana store is creating is very large, because it keeps a lot of items on hand, and it keeps it does a lot of transactions on hand. It has a lot of customers that it's extending credit to. So there was a big challenge to make sure that you have so much data being created by these merchants that you want to make sure that it's safe. There's always backups happening. There is no issues with accounting. There's no issues with numbers. As a big company, a company can have a loss of plus minus a few thousand or lakh rupees, and it's a big company, it's okay for them. But for a Kiryana store owner, a plus minus of 10 rupees is quite major, because, he works really hard to sort of make his money and make his profits. So really making sure that the product performs, really well at scale, without any issues, without any errors. That was a big challenge. And another challenge that I think is also, one of the biggest challenges, and I'll let Zubair sort of talk some more on that, is the challenge that, you have all these businesses that have been operating in their own ways, offline, on registers. Now you have to bring them online, right? You have to teach them and educate them to start using apps, to start trusting the apps, and to start entering their data into the app. So you have to digitize and educate these people. So the design component here is actually super important, and how we help them, we sort of take them on this journey of digitizing their business. And I'm sure Zubair has a lot to say there. I think that was one of our biggest challenges. I'll let Zubair talk some more on that.
Thank you, Shah. I think Shah mentioned very nicely. So yeah, that is very important part when you are building an app for such customers, those who even don't know how to use phone. And in that scenario, we introduce our app and try to optimize the flows and come up with such ideas, such iterations, such user flows, journeys that can help out the user to understand how this app is actually going to work out. So that is very important part of the application. And whenever we keep listening to our customers, whenever we design something, to build a feature, it could be a journey, it could be a simple flow, it could be messaging. So we always try to optimize our application based on our user feedback. So yeah, it's also a big challenge. But I think you being in this journey, it's really interesting when you see that you are helping out those customers when they go and they start living a good life with their family once we introduce this app. So they try to give some time to their families. So somehow that is the happiness part here as we build this app. And also when we hear our customers that, I have one of the testimonials in my screen, so it was really inspiring me. So there's a guy, there's a user, Hafiz Mazhar. So he wrote on our Google Play Store, finally, after installing 20 different apps, I found a best app for my business. Thanks. So this is something, when you see such kind of comments from your users, that is, inspiring. And that's the change for us, and obviously for Pakistan as well. We want Pakistan to grow in the digital industry. And yes, so yeah, that is an inspiring thing. So yeah.
That is beautiful, and I'm pretty sure that you're making a lot of change in a lot of people's lives, and hence that is why you were scaling up so fast. And we hope to see Udhaar Book in the very, very big names pretty soon. So briefly, if someone does not know Udhaar Books and they want to know what the revenue model is or how the company operates, can you explain it briefly, the model of how the company works?
So, with the recent, I'm sure like how technology companies scale and get valued. The revenue component comes later. The business model comes later. The first race is to get the most users on the platform. So right now, we extend this service for free, and that would be the plan for the longest, as long as we can do that, because the idea really is that you want to make sure you have as many merchants on the platform as possible, and that you're utilizing all these features for free. And the technology, the hardware, in the cloud has become really cheap. So if you build good software, you're able to extend that service for free to a very, very large number of customers. So the idea is that in the future, once we get to a point where we have a large number of merchants, then a lot of value-added services can be provided. So for example, there is on the app right now, we have started wallets through which people can put in the money and they can sell easy load. So when they sell the easy load, it's basically easy for them to sell recharge to the app, and when they sell recharge to the app, they make a commission, and we also sort of make a small commission on top of that. So on scale, this could be a business model for us that, as merchants are selling easy load to the system, we could make some money off that as well. But it's a platform for businesses, right? So when you have businesses and you're solving problems for businesses, then depending on the value that you're providing to them, you can charge them for different types of services. At the moment, we're not making any money. At the moment, we're really focused on, and very fortunate that we got the VC money to focus on growth and not really worry about making money. So our objective at the moment is really just to make sure that we have good retention. Our customers are happy. They want to sort of continue doing transactions on the platform, and they want to keep on sharing the platform with other merchants. So that's really our focus, to acquire the users, and then down the line, at some point we can start thinking about the business model. But at the moment, it's not. We haven't really thought about it as much.
Okay, that's very interesting, and I feel like that these kind of models have been proven to be very successful in the past. And the kind of value addition you guys are doing, I think that's the cream that any company can dream of doing, and customer loyalty that you guys are building, that's amazing. So talking about the industry, how is the competition, and are there any major competitors in the market? Yet a lot of growth to be done in the market that you guys are playing in, talking about Pakistani ecosystem?
There's definitely competition in the market, and competition is always healthy if you want to take it as healthy competition, and we do take it as very healthy competition. There's the likes of M Khata, Easy Khata, Credit Book, DG Khata. There's a few companies in the industry, and they so far they've only offered features like Udhaar Book and Cash Book. We're offering additional features as well, helping businesses manage inventory and a salary book, being their ability to offer salary slips to their employees. So we're aiming to be a more of a holistic app which always solves multiple problems for a business. Helps them in the future as well. But at the moment, it seems like there is that sort of product divergence where they're more focused on certain features, and we are doing more of a holistic experience.
Okay, that's quite insightful. So moving on, this is kind of one of the most important questions that the audience looks upon in our fireside chats. If someone who's entering the industry, or someone who wants to be in the industry one day or open a startup of their own, what would you individually, Shahjahan and Zubair, because you have a diverse and individual journeys, what would you recommend them, and what would be 2 or 3 things that you've learned over the years through your experiences that you think that someone who hopes to be in your position one day down the line should know and should be keeping in mind in their journeys?
So one lesson that I recently learned, and we've been doing startups for some time, and it's a very common sense insight, but surprisingly it takes some time for you to actually realize that this is a very, very important insight. And we were fortunate to be part of Y Combinator actually earlier this year, actually now last year, now it's the new year. So 2021 in Jan, we were fortunate to be admitted into the Y Combinator program. As you know, it's one of the most renowned startup programs, accelerator programs around the world. And going through that, and I would actually encourage all more Pakistanis to read up on it and apply to that program and sort of aim to get into it, because it really brings international founders on one platform, and it takes them through like a learning journey, and it helps them sort of really identify what are the important aspects that you need to focus on when you're building a new product. One of the things that they really focused on was empathizing with the customer, really knowing your customer well, really putting yourself in the shoes of the customer, really putting customer at the center of it all.
And I also believe the same, but I have this one thing in my mind. Just wanted to say that. Also want to see Pakistan, green Pakistan, right? A paperless Pakistan. When we going towards these great, applications or these new startup boom. So I really want to see something which is really impactful in our all Pakistan, and we will proud of, right? We'll say something that we have built in our life that is helping all the humanity, right? So that is the great part. Even I also believe that I'm going to create something in my life which is super awesome to every single person. That can especially make the mark in their life. So that was the goal, and I want every Pakistani to come up with such great inspiring and motivational kind of focus to their ideas, and they think for a bigger picture of Pakistan, so we can proud of. So yeah.
I think that's very beautiful. And the values that you, both of you have, I feel like as a team, when all of you get together, that is what is building Udhaar Books. And that is most probably the reason behind the success, mashallah. And we'll hopefully be seeing more success in the future. I just have one last question. As you guys are planning to scale up as a super app, we've seen that startups nowadays, one of the very major problems that startups in the industry that are scaling up or that have raised funding usually are facing is the organization structure or the team. They can't manage it. They're having difficulties managing the team or hiring the team. So are you guys in a phase that you've managed that problem already, or are you gonna be in that phase soon, and are you taking any measures to avoid that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. It is a few things that I would want to say there. I think that's a problem that every growing company will face. Um, One is that you should be very diligent about the founding team members, because you need to make sure that the original people in the team or the new hires. Let's say we were originally like 10 people, now mashallah we're 40 people, half of them engineers, and then we have product and designers. You gotta spend a lot of time with the new hires. Spend as much time as possible, because the culture that these first 10 people or first 40 people will have will define the culture that the company of a 500 or 1000 will have. So it's very important to take your time, trying to sort of get to know the people that you are bringing into the fold, bringing into the company. So that's super important. And then also just having a good balance. I think keeping the motivation high for everybody, making sure that everybody believes in the vision that you are sort of focused on. So anybody who comes into the team needs to share the vision that you have. So really sort of understand where the company culture is, and they should agree on that. I think those are important things. You need to have a great HR guy. So the HR guy that you need to sort of bring in has to be really good as well, because they need to understand what your needs are, where the gaps are in the organizational structure. They need to have a tech background as well. A person who is non-techie may not really understand things that well. So it's always good to have an HR with a tech background. I mean, not that they should be a programmer or something, but that means that they should be able to understand what are the different skill sets required to build products and build technology platforms. But yeah, it's there's no like formula to scaling. Go growing a small company to a big company. I think you just sort of learn as you go. But I think one of the most important points for me, at least, has been to make sure that the people that come in initially in the initial days are the people who are going to define the culture in the long run. So you should really spend time getting to know them, and really make sure that the first set of people, or the first sort of group of people, really share your vision as to where you're going.
That's amazing. Do you have anything to add to that, Zubair?
I was talking about the transparency of company.
Yeah.
So yeah, so transparency is the key, I guess. Everyone should come up with anything if they had any idea, anything. So that was, I was explaining that everyone can participate into anything. So we have like, I think, Fatma, do you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So yes. So even in our company, the best part is it's great to actually work with all the resources, even though they are engineers, marketers, support team, and everyone. So you keep hanging out with every single member. You keep listening to everyone's idea, and they actually come up कि भाई जुबैर भाई ये ठीक है ये नहीं है. So that is very inspiring, and also creates the bond in between all the your different teams. So that bond is very helping out to grow you as a company. So that is super nice culture I have seen. And also it is very fun to work here in Udhaar Book. It's not like you are working 24/7 on the computer, you hang around. Sometimes your boss come, hi boss, why not if we can have a FIFA round or Mortal Kombat, I want to beat you. So, so something, it's a fun. And yeah, the culture is really great. That's why, I spend a great time here in Udhaar Book. And I really look forward to see myself here, just because of this culture and yeah, the growing opportunity. So yeah.
I feel like after this fireside chat, everyone who's going to be watching it is going to want to work in Udhaar Book. So I think whatever openings that you guys have, you're going to be flooded with applications, because me, myself, listening to all of this, I'm like, okay, I want to be working in a like office environment like that. I want to have bosses like that. But it's been very nice, guys. And thank you so much for coming on Startup Grind Fireside Chat. We're going to end this now. And I'm pretty sure that everyone who's going to watch this is going to have a delightful time and learn a lot from both of you, like I did. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Allah
Fatma.
Hafiz.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here.